Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And this is the 500-kilometer review of the Begode Tesla or Begode Tesla V2. Let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way. Okay, this wheel has actually more than 500 kilometers already on the clock, around 550, although most of the mileage was actually done by my girlfriend Kate. She's been using this wheel quite a lot and she's been liking it as well. But I've also put around 250 or 300 kilometers on the clock. Recently did a range test on it, like sort of a range test on it, so I've also have a bit of a understanding how this wheel performs, how it behaves, and what are the ups and downs of it. Now, there are already a couple of videos on the Tesla V2 on the channel, mainly also the comparison to the Emotion V10F, but in this video we'll dive into the performance, the good and bad things I've encountered over these 550 kilometers of use, how the features stack up, and how this wheel just basically performs day to day. So you'll see also an acceleration test, a hill climb, and all of that. So strap yourselves in and let's get started. Also, huge thanks to my e-wheel. We've actually bought the wheel there at a special price, but it's still paid with our own monies. And this is Kate's wheel. I have the S18 and the Sherman, and yeah, I'm just curious what she'll get next after the Tesla V2. Anyways, just a short reminder of what the specs here are. The motor is a 1900 watt nominal power motor, which propels the Tesla to around 45 to 50 kilometers an hour. I've done some speed testing with this wheel, and the wheel was already beeping with the 5 times beep, meaning it's overpowered. The beep started around 45 kilometers an hour. I'm not eager to test if it can go 50 or more. Probably it can, but I'd say that the safe top speed here is anywhere around 40 to 45 kilometers an hour, depending on the battery state. I've also done an acceleration test. You can check it out now. Probably I could have done it faster, but it's still cold outside. I am not eager to have another cutoff, and this result is also, in my eyes, a pretty good result for such a small wheel. And this motor has actually so much torque. This wheel is a lot of fun to ride in the city because it's light, and this motor has, you know, both torque and top end speed. So I've actually also done a hill climb test on it. 35 degrees was easy on this wheel. Where the V10F was already struggling and overpowering. And actually I've also tried 40 degrees incline on this wheel. Which is quite amazing. It's really easy to accelerate and brake with this wheel. You don't really need any power pads in my eyes because the foot plates are also angled. You are holding the wheel tightly with your calves here. Yeah, motor has loads. Yeah, it's just a really well all-around performing wheel when it comes to the acceleration and top speed, etc., etc. Let's move on to the battery. There are two units on, giving it a pretty cool balance, each at 500 I don't know, 10 watt hours. So the total capacity of this wheel is a kilowatt hour pretty much of battery capacity, 1020 watt hours on Sanyo GA cells, and I really like those cells. It has around, I would say, 10 to 15% more range than the V10F. It's actually surprising to me because at the same temperature, when I did a range test on the V10F, it was pretty much dying at 40 kilometers, and this had still like 10%, 8% left at 45 kilometers. I also recently did a range test with a bit warmer weather at like 3 to 5 degrees Celsius, which is around 38 or 40 Fahrenheit. And I managed to get 41 kilometers and still had around 15% battery left. So, and this wasn't really like a regular range test, because with this trip I was also doing the crazy inclines and I was riding pretty fast. So I would say that with 40 kilometers of range is easy on this wheel, but you can also get it like 50, maybe even 60 if you ride slowly. To recharge the wheel, there's a GX16 port in the front. I have a small cover on it. Would like to see something better than just a flappy cover, but it does the job. Charging time is I think around 9 to 10 hours, something like that. But I have a fast charger for this wheel. You can buy it as a third-party accessory and I'll recharge it in like 3 to 4 hours with 3.5 amp charger. Battery is pretty good in all conditions. Actually nothing to complain here. Maybe the only thing, but it's more of a build quality related thing, would be nice to see a fuse on this wheel, which hopefully will be added in the T3, Tesla 3. And I would also like to see a cover or some more rigid plastic securing the battery in place. There's just, you know, this blue shrink tape around it. If you want to see the insides of the Tesla V2, feel free to click the link here, and there you will see how I disassemble and reassemble the wheel. The wheel is really light. It's the lightest, I guess, 16-inch wheel with these sort of parameters. Really easy to carry up and down stairs. There's also the lift switch here, which makes it even easier. Very portable, very easy to get into a, you know, into a train, into a bus. It also has a trolley handle, and actually the mounts of the trolley handle on the inside broke, which is a bummer, but still sort of works fine. It's pretty sturdy, but it goes down by itself very easily. So that's one problem, and it's also not the tallest one. Even the MCM5 V2 has a taller trolley handle, but it does the job well. It's pretty ergonomical with the sideways grip sort of, but I wish just Begode would implement some sort of button that it won't go down. Then it would be a perfect trolley handle, I would say, because InMotion has locking trolley handles, Kingsong has locking trolley handles, Veteran has locking trolley handles, and Begode is just a bit different, I guess. That's about the trolley handle. When it comes to the rest of the features, there's a speaker on this wheel you can use for Bluetooth audio by connecting to your smartphone or whatever you would like. They sound pretty okay. I think it's better sound quality than the V10F, but worse than the Begode RS. Front light is, I would say, okay. I would always advise you to get some sort of, you know, external light like the Olight RN800 here that I use on my helmet, because this is for slow speeds, I guess this would be sufficient, but if you want to go 30, 40 in the night, better get an additional light. And the big bummer about the Tesla V2 is, of course, that it doesn't have a rear taillight. The Tesla V3 will have it. So you will need to put some sort of third-party accessory light on the handle here, and then you will be visible in the night. Very important, because that's, I guess, one of the biggest downsides of the Tesla V2. There's also a USB charge port here in the front. It also has the RGB side lights that I can show you right now. They did attempt of making a battery indicator here, so there's more or less lights depending on your battery percentage. I don't really use it that much. I don't find it that readable, and there's also different presets of RGB side lighting. But usually I check the battery state just in my app, because that's like not really accurate. When it comes to the build quality, it's really plasticky. It's sort of a bit squeaky. Maybe it wasn't that squeaky at the beginning, but it's always like, yeah, it doesn't feel that premium, I guess. But in terms of waterproofing, we rode this wheel in rain, in snow, in pretty much any conditions you would imagine, and it held up fine. And when we opened it up, there was also no mud or dust or, you know, water ingress, with a visible water ingress on the inside of the wheel. So I guess Emotion is way better assembled and it's like safer overall, better waterproofed, but this also does the job well, and I'm sure that there are a lot of Tesla V2 users very happy with their wheel. When it comes to the riding characteristics of this wheel, as I said at the beginning, it's very zippy, it's very fast, quick, very responsive. I really like it, but the pedal hangers are actually really low. So it's good for the acceleration because you have a bigger leverage from the center of the wheel. But in combination with the narrow tire, which I'll talk about in a second, it's really easy to scratch the pedals on the Tesla, and it doesn't have such a small turning radius. So if you are turning, you have to always watch out if there's some sort of uneven terrain in front of you, especially on an intersection, or if you jump off a road and get on a bike path, or jump off a bike path and get on a sidewalk, because you can just crash. Sometimes it's enough to have just such a small difference in height and you will fall. That's actually what happened to me whilst I was recording this review on the Tesla. So you have to really watch out for that. And this issue is just magnified by having this super narrow tire. It's a 16-inch by 2.125, 2 1/8, so much narrower than the Emotion V10F. And the result of that is that you have to actually lean with the wheel more to turn. So you have to use your knees, use your whole body weight, your hips more to turn on this wheel than, for example, on a Emotion V10F. Now, regarding the low pedal hangers, the Ninebot Z10 has also really low pedal hangers, but once you build up speed, the wheel itself won't tilt. This is the exact opposite of that. It's sort of like balancing all the time. I got used to it and it's actually quite fun, but you have to always keep in mind that you might hit the ground with the pedals, and you really don't want to do that because it's dangerous. I would say that the clearance here is also not the highest. You can jump some curbs, but not really anything higher. I wouldn't recommend it to buy this wheel to go out off-road. It would be better to have a V10F for that. And I guess to improve the Tesla in this regard is to have a bigger tire, like a 16 by 2.5, or raise the pedal hangers, which I believe they didn't do in the T3, but we're yet to find out. And I know that a off-road 2.4-inch tire fits into the Tesla V2. To check this out, just feel free to watch the video by Marty, Electric Unicycles, on this topic. Maybe I'll also we'll try such a tire on the wheel, because yeah, that's just my biggest gripe with the Tesla, along with the lack of a rear taillight. You see that I've put the Sherman footplates here instead of the regular ones because they're just bigger. I had to just flip the magnets. But the V shape is really good because it makes your legs sort of hug the wheel at all times, and it makes you feel very sturdy, very connected to the wheel. And that's a feeling you don't get on a Emotion V10F. It's sort of like difficult to grab the emotion. So with that said, I think it's a pretty good value wheel. Actually, you get a lot of bang for your buck. I wouldn't say that the quality is the best or, you know, really bad. It's sort of okay, I would say. I also received the wheel with a battery unit that had a faulty BMS, so I actually had to exchange one battery unit. But that went really quick with my e-wheel, and it was very easy to just disconnect and reconnect another battery. And yeah, it's pretty well waterproofed, not as well waterproofed as the Emotions, but does the job, and definitely it's really a lot of fun to accelerate, to just ride around on the city. Only thing you have to keep in mind is the low pedal hanger placement. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.